So today we are going to be looking into the four set problem. How do we solve a problem involving four set of identities? So these could be problems like in a class there are 50 students, four of them like playing cricket, 10 of them like football, 25 of them like carom, 30 of them like badminton, and then there will be associated questions wherein how many folks like carom and football, how many like at least one sport, at least two sports, these kind of problems. So when it comes to problems with sets of two, the way to solve this is using Venn diagrams. So when we have two sets, let's say those sets are A and B, then the associated Venn diagram with this is obviously two circles which intersect. Extended this logic to three sets, when instead of A, B, and C, we have. So then we need to just add one more circle to this, which is going to intersect the previous two circles. So that comes across as this. Really neat and really nice. And the way to check whether this configuration that we have is correct, and this is again irrespective of the number of sets, is to answer these questions. How many ways in which we can pick certain number of quantities among them. So since we have three sets, we can pick 0, that is no among them, in 3C0 ways, which gives us 1. Then we can pick one set among 3 in 3C1 ways, which gives us 3. Then we can pick two sets among them in 3C2 ways, which gives us also 3. And at last, then we have to pick all three sets, 3C3 is 1. So when we add them, we get altogether of 9 regions. Eight regions altogether. And that's how it is. Obviously, our 8th region is going to be the null set, which belongs to the universal set. It's our 8th region. So if we look at the series, when we have two sets, we had an altogether of 4 regions. So and if we had just a single set, then we had altogether 2 regions. So if we need to graph a series for this, so it starts from 2, then goes to 4, then goes to 8. So obviously, when it's a term for 4 sets, the next number in the series should be 60. So let's see that how do we solve a question using Venn diagrams when 4 sets are given, and whether we can continue with our logic of continue with our theme of using circles for this purpose. So now, since there are 4 sets, obviously this will require us to have 4 circles. A, B, C, and D. So let's try to draw 4 intersecting circles in a similar vein as we have done for the 3 sets. So we have one circle, other circle is going to be intersecting. I'm going to draw large intersecting figure so that I can accommodate the other 2 circles. Next one, I'm going to be the one below. So it's going to be something like this. And next one below the second one. So it goes something like this. Right. So you may think that this is a correct solution for this, but as we have found out in the previous step, there should be altogether of 16 regions represented in this figure, including the one, this is the null set. So let's try to count how many regions are there. So I'm going to go outside. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So as you can see, if we use circles to represent this Venn diagram, then we are only getting 14 total regions, but instead we should be getting 16. So obviously this diagram is wrong. To think of this more intuitively, let us imagine that we need to find intersection of sets A and B. So if we try to locate this area using our diagram, the intersection of A and B, which lie diagonally to each other, would be this area. So which basically cover the regions marked as 9, 10, and 30. Now there is a problem. There is no such region in the present diagram which only represents A intersection B. Because if you look at the region number 13 and region number 9, these actually lie in the set containing C, and region number 9 lies in the set containing D. So this is not possible. So what's the solution? So the problem is that the circles are too symmetric of a figure to represent this. So we need to think of more unsymmetric figures. Now there are several solutions. Professor Eddie Wu has suggested a certain number of diagrams which solves this problem. So for example, going in the same vein as selecting a unsymmetric figure, let's try to use something which is more oblong, which resembles that of like an ellipse. So that is going to look something like this. This is my first set. This is my second set. Now, let me just draw the diagram a little bit better. Okay, there we go. Now, third or fourth sets are, the orientation is really critical. So my third diagram is going to go something like this. This is my third set. And my fourth one is going to go, let me see if I can get this right in the first attempt. There we go. Did I get it right? No. Maybe I need to redraw this. So that's the problem with this kind of figure. It's just not intuitive, and unless you are Bob Ross, there's no way you can draw this diagram, especially in a high pressure situation that you usually face in exams. So let me just give it one more shot to try to attempt this diagram. So it's going to go like this. There we go. So this obviously solves the problem. So if let me just label the regions. We need 16 regions, remember? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, this one 13, 14, 15, and of course the null set, the 16th. But as you can see, the way in which I was struggling, really difficult to draw this diagram in a exam. Now, Professor Wu has suggested an alternative figure as well, much easier to draw than this, but not as neat and clean as one would like. So here's what I would recommend instead. So let's just get rid of circles entirely. Let's think of maybe in rectangles and arches. So what I suggest is this. We'll start with a square-ish figure, need not to be a perfect square. There we go. Now we are going to draw two arches on two adjacent sides of the square. Now the trick to drawing these arches is that its diameter should be just a little bit more than the midpoint of the side. So if I mark the midpoints like so, the diameter of these arches should be just a little bit greater than. So it starts from one end and goes just a little bit beyond the midpoint. Similarly, my next arch will start from the other end. And there you go. I'm going to repeat the same process for the next adjacent side. It starts from here, goes there. The next one starts from here, goes there. And final step, to complete the diagram, I'm going to draw lines which connect the end of these arches to the opposite side. So these are two. Now these two will be a set. These are sets A and B, and the other two sets are going to be this. To make the demarcation of sets more clear, let's try to outline these individual sets with different colors. So this is my set A. Just going to increase the size of my brush. This is set A. Next, my set B is going to be the one right adjacent to this. This is B. This is A. Now going to set C is going to be the same thing, but tilted towards the right. Trace over the edges of the curve and include the sides. There we go. And finally, my set D is going to be the remaining one. Right. So as you can see in this diagram, first let us just count the number of areas to see if there are actually 16 areas. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and of course the null set. So this obviously has 16 areas, and it also solves the problem of the overlapped area that we had for previous case. So for example, if we need to figure out the intersection of A and C, this would be region number. A and C only would be region number 11, whereas A and B only would be region number 2. C and D only would be region number 5. D and A would be region number 9. So this clearly solves all the regions that we have, and much easier to draw than the oblong shape as suggested. So there it is.